All right, all right, all right, all right. Thank you very much for the invite, and thank you very much to my colleagues who just finished with their presentation. I've been in here for a while, so I actually enjoyed it as well. And then I think um, that's a great presentation. Myself, I keep learning, so so that's fine. I don't want to waste much time. So quickly, I will just move to my presentation, then introduce myself also there. Okay. All right. So let me know if my screen is up. Is my screen up? Is my presentation up?
Yes, it is.
Awesome. All right. Thank you. All right. Okay. So yes. So my name is Shadrack Inusah, and I will be speaking on bridging the gap between AI and app development. Okay. Bridging the gap between AI and app development with ChatGPT and PowerApps. Okay. So someone asked a question about something around here with Power Automate or the Flow. Yes, it's possible, as my colleague said. My colleague speaker also said it's possible, and then we are going to do something like that. So this is a practical session, and then we are going to do something like that in Power Apps, right? So quickly, let me just move to my intro. Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier on, I'm Shadrack Inusah, a Microsoft Business Application MVP, Power Platform Specialist at Fidelity Bank Ghana. I'm a Microsoft Intune administrator. That was my previous my previous job description then. I'm a former Gold Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador for Ghana and the first runner-up for Microsoft Power Platform African Challenge, the first edition, which was in 2021. And I'm also a BSc Computer Science with Management holder. All right, so you guys remember something like this popped up in 2021, May 25th by Ryan, introducing Power Apps, ideas, AI-powered assistants now help everyone to create apps using the natural language, right? So it's all about when Microsoft and then OpenAI GPT-3 were integrated, okay, into the M365, right, for development. So that's when all these announcements started. And this year is like we are now getting to know more of it, right? We are getting to know more of these amazing things that AI is doing. Even in Flow, now you can describe a flow and it will be built for you. You don't need to build it from scratch. You can just describe, I want to do this and that, and it will be built for you just because it has been implemented with the AI. Power Apps has the idea option where you can just tap on it and the idea will help you prepare, just like it's in the what's the name? PowerPoint presentation. You have idea where you pick and the AI just automatically developed your presentation for you. It's just the same thing in Power Apps as well. So it has been implemented or it has been integrated in the Microsoft 365. All right, so ChatGPT plus Microsoft 365, as I mentioned earlier on. So OpenAI and Microsoft have partnered to integrate AI, OpenAI's cutting-edge natural language processing technology with Microsoft 365, as I mentioned earlier on. This integration allows users to leverage OpenAI's GPT-3, that's the generative pre-trained language, right? Transformer 3 model to enhance their productivity in Microsoft Word, Outlook, and Teams. So they are all included, right? Not just Power Apps, not just the Power Platform, which was announced recently. Yes, then GPT-3 can suggest and complete entire sentence, paragraph, and documents based on natural language input from the user, which we are going to build that. With this integration, Microsoft 365 users can enjoy enhanced writing assistance and productivity tools, allowing them to focus more on their core tasks and less on the mechanics of writing, right? Additionally, this integration paves the way for further collaboration between OpenAI and Microsoft. So these are all just reading. I've shared a slide with I've shared the slides, so I'm sure you get access to them. Yeah, so straight away, let's go and create something awesome with ChatGPT API and then PowerApps, right? So let's just move in straight away. All right. I think I will have to share my entire screen this time around. Let me just do that quickly. But in case you have any question, I think someone have to talk because I might not be seeing the chats, right? So yeah. Okay, so let me just share my entire screen now. Share screen. All right. So this is OpenAI's platform, okay, where we can get the documentation, the overview, and everything there. I'm sure you guys have seen a lot of videos around this on the internet as well. Then I'm going to also make you know that there are more examples here, not just the videos you are seeing, but there are more that you can also try your hands on. So these are examples of the APIs here. You can try your hands on all this. There are about 50. You can try your hands on all of them. You know, ChatGPT has specialists. I mean, it's actually specialized in a specific field if you want it to be, right? If in case you want it to be very specialized in this, that's where you can get particular API for it. In case you want it to do only this, even though it can do all the other ones, right? But you want it more on something specifically, you can get an API for it here as well, right? To build whatever you want to build because you want it to be specifically doing this, right? So you can do that here. And we have the playground. So this is the link, platform, I said power, sorry for that, platform.openai.com to give you access to the API. You can get the documentation here, the example here. So we have 50 examples here. And for the sake of this event, I want us to have some kind of fun. So I'm going for a friend chat. This is a friend chat API. I'm going for a friend chat. It has playground here. So there is a prompt here. What have you been up to? The friend, me, what have you been up to, right? Then the friend was watching old movies. Did you watch anything interesting, friend? Then this is the reply also, right? Yeah, I watched an old classic called Casablanca. It was really good, right? So this is how it works, right? So, and then you have the API request for whatever you are seeing up there. You have the API request for that. So all we need is here, right? So quickly, let's move to build something awesome, right? Okay, so let me just move to my M365. As my colleague mentioned earlier on, to move here, you just have to enter office.com and your M365 packages, popped up just like that. Then you just pick whatever you want to use and then you use that, right? So I'm going to look for PowerApps. Okay. Just hope my internet favors, right? So inside PowerApps, awesome. All right. So inside here, I think I have to just slow down a bit. Okay. So inside here, you click on more, right? You come to discover all, right? Then inside here, you under the data option, right? Or under the data group, you can see something here called custom connectors, right? Let's pin this. So we pin this and it pop-ups here, right? Good. The reason being that we will be using it. So we have to pin it here, right? Okay. So let's get it open. This is how it looks like when you open it, right? Now we are going to connect a new API to this. So create from blank. All right. Now the API needs a name, right? I try something with this, right? Okay, so that's my API name, and that's the city the city having the event, right? So this, then go on. All right. I was supposed to have a logo, but then let's move on. So you can actually upload a logo here. I forgot to download something down. All right, so you can actually upload a logo or an icon, anything else that you have, right? You can change your background color by using the color codes here. You can give it a description. So let me see if I can get my description here. Okay, so let me copy this description and just paste it here. Right, awesome. All right, so leave it on HTTPS. Then come here, type API dot open labs api.openai.com. So, all right, awesome. Great. Now, when done with this, the next thing is to move to security. All right, security, authentication, you have API key, right? Here, you type API key. API key. Here, you type authentication for the parameter name. Authentication. Authorization, rather. Authorization. Right. So, yes, authorization. I hope I got it right. Yes, I got it right. Awesome. So from there, you just move on to next, which is the definition. And when you get to the definition, you have actions here. There is no action, right? So we have to create a new action. All right. So with the action you are seeing there, right? After creating this, a particular action, right? You can create for all other ones that you are seeing there and try your hands on. This is very simple, not anything difficult. When I take you through this, you can try your hands on all the APIs you see there. So then you don't need to start again. You just come and create a new action, right? Okay. So we are going to create an action for this. Okay, so we'll call it friend chat, right? Then we come here, we type the same thing, right? This time around, you have to have it like this, no spacing, because it's an ID. Then let's go copy this for the description. All right. So now the next thing to do is to go to the request. Okay. And this is the request, API request. This is the request. So we just come to import. It's a post request, post API request, the URL. So everything is here. We don't need to go anywhere. Everything is here. The URL is here. So you come and copy it up. You go in here and paste it. Headers. This is your header, right? So we come in here, copy this, and paste it, right? The body. This is the body. The body starts from here to here. We copy this. Awesome. Now, when all this is done, we just import it so that we get the fields. So you import it, and now you get the header field and then the body. So we click on this. You make it required, right? Make it internal. And you pass your default value for the header. And what's the default value for the header? For this header, the default value is application percent. So you pass it here. You see how everything we need is there, right? So as I mentioned earlier on, when you are done with this, you just go back. And the next one is the body. That's where almost all the work is, right? Make it required. So the body too is required. You can actually change the schema name actually, but it's not needed. Make it required and internal for that particular schema, which is frequency penalty, right? And frequency penalty, frequency penalty is 0.5. So you make sure you have the 0.5 there, right? So everything we need, just follow the process. You go to max token required, and it should be internal. Then also the max token value is 60. So you make sure you copy the 60, you paste it there. When you're done, you go back again and pick the model. So the model you are using, the model we are using is test DaVinci 003. Okay, so ChatGPT has different models, right? And this is based on the models the ChatGPT answers you your question, right? So we pick this model because this model is going to handle that for us. Okay, then we go back. I think I did a mistake here. Sorry, should be required. Then presence penalty. So I will explain all this after we are done with the app and there's more time. I'll just explain all this for you guys. I will explain all the terms here for you. So presence penalty is 0.0. That's the default value required and internal. Then we have the prompt. The prompt, so you go to the prompt also to check the number. To check what is that. So the prompt is actually where you ask the question. Okay, that's where you ask, that's what pops up for you to ask the question. So that's where the question come in. So that one is required, but very important, right? Then you go back. So that one doesn't have a value because it's dynamic, right? We don't make it static. Okay, so the next one is, let me see what I clicked on, stop item output. So stop item output is the U. I will explain that also as well during, during the app development. So internal. Then the next is temperature. So the temperature is here. Copy that. Yeah, required internal. Go back. The next is top P. I'll explain all the terms for you. Don't worry about that. Top P. So just paste that here. Did I copy the right word? Okay. Yep. Okay. So I'm done. And when done, what you have to do is now to create a connector, right? So we are done. So we are creating the connector. Right. Internet favor us. It's loading. This should be done in seconds. Yes, it's done. That's awesome. All right, so now we need to test if this is working, right? So you click on the test tab. You realize we don't have a connection to test. You can see everything is off here, right? Everything is grayed out. So we don't have a connection. So we need to add a connection. This is where the API comes in. This is where we have to enter our API. Don't worry, you can see my API because I will delete it when I'm done. All right, so you realize authorization, right? Bearer, then your API comes in. So meaning this bearer is very important, that it has to come first before our API. And now to get the API, let me go back. To get the API, we need to click on our account that we have, our account that we've created on OpenAI site, where we use it to test out, to run our ChatGPT and other stuff. Yes, the same account. You tap on it or you click on it, then you go to view API keys. All right. So here you can create an API. All right. So this is the API. I'll copy that. Right. And I'll go in here and paste that. So bearer in your API. Right. So I will create this. All right. So when it's created, this what happens. Right. Now we have to go back to the custom again, because we are going to test it. We are going to run a test on it. So click on the edit. All right, now you go to the test. So let's type a question. Let's say good morning. Let's say good morning and test it up. So our response should be status 200, which is successful, right? So you can see the reply here. Good morning. How can I help you? Right. So we need this body, right? We need this body here. We need to copy this body. Go back to your definition because we need to pass the body there, right, to be used to the kind of replies that come. So we go into import, right? You go to import definition. We went to response, then we clicked on it. We go to import, then you paste your body here. Now you need to import your body, right? So you have this. All right. The next thing is to update the API or the connector, right? The custom connector. All right. Awesome. So when it's done updating, now we can just we are done with this. So we can just leave this like this because we are done with it now. We are done creating the connector. The connector is completed now. All right. The next thing is to go to PowerApp. Okay, let's just use it here. I didn't want to leave this page, so let me just open a different tab. All right, so the next is go to PowerApp. Yes, we are going to do this within some few minutes, right? So that I can also rush away. All right, so we create a blank app, which I know most of you know. Yep, so we create a blank app. Then I'll use the font type and I'll call it, let me call it the chats GPT. Right. Then I'll just create. Awesome. All right. So I need just three fields here or three elements or items here, right? So I'll just before that I need to connect the data, right? The data I'm going to use, which is my connector. I will need to connect my connector in here, and to do that, you can see the data icon here. You will click on it. The data icon here, that's the container. You click on it, or you come to add data. You come here, come and search for it. What did we name it? I think the ban. Yes, the ban GPT. All right. So you click on it to connect it to your application because you want to call it within the application, right? So we are connecting it so that we can call it. You can call a lot of data in here as well with your SharePoint and other stuff, right? So we can go back to our screen, right? So if you are new to PowerApps, your everything is here. You have your screen. You can insert here. You have your data here. You can add media here. Your flow is here. All right. So we are just going to insert. I need a test label. Then I need a button. Then I need an input as well. So I'm just going to do a quick design. Just a quick design, quick one. Come here. Awesome. You go here. You come here. We just want to have a nice feel, like, when you open your application, how awesome it looks like, those kind of things, right? Yes, so when you click on this, whatever you have here is what we call the properties for that particular label, right? So at the property, we want our vertical align. We want to have the test up. Okay, so you can see it move up. So we want, then we want to have a border. I love this color. We want to have a border around it. And the border should be, let me say 4. All right, so I'm done with that. Then I'll pick this also. I need to have a border around this also. So maybe 4 as well. Then I'll change the color to, so you can see I'm not coding that much, as we call it low code. This button, okay, this button test written there, I'm going to use this. That kind of feel, when you click on it, then it means you are going to get a reply. Yeah, this kind of icon, right? All right, so I'll just leave the border out maybe, then just let me give it an outline. I mean, also green. Awesome. Oh, up. I touched the border right now. So green. Awesome. All right, so I'm done with something awesome like this, right? I'll delete the default test. Okay, so I'll delete the default test. Then I'll input my code there because I need something there to, to display whatever reply the person give, right? But then I will start with this, with the button first, because this is what someone will be clicking on, right? So the button, then I'll go to the properties and select the on select. Okay, so I'll pick the on select. On select means when someone clicks on that particular item, what should happen? The action, right? The action. So that's where we put it at the on select, right? So I will just I'm setting a variable, just like we do in traditional programming. We set variables for containers, like let's say a equals 2, a equals 3, or 3 equals a, which means wherever you see 3 is a. So that's what I'm doing here. So I'm just going to set my var chart. So my var chart, or let's say my var chart response that I'm going to get from the user, right? So let me call it var chart response I'll be getting from the user. I'm going to actually put everything here. So everything I'm going to type is going here, right? Now I need to call my Debian, what's the name? Data source, right? Okay, so to do that, we just type Debian. All right, so as I told you earlier on, you can add different APIs to it, not just only the frame chat, right? So you can see the Debian that we created, the Debian connector that we created has this frame chat, right? So you can have this, that. The more you are adding to it at the action, you can add all of them there. So this is the particular one we need. So you realize the first question is asking is the model. And the model is here, test DaVinci 003. Okay, just the same way we have here. So if you come to the examples, I'm just coming to show you something here so that you realize it's the same thing we are entering there. So you can see the settings. So this is the model, the same thing. So everything has been, so let's copy it here. So you know everything is from here, right? So the model, comes first, right? Then you bring comma, then the prompt. So the prompt is where the user enters something, right? Where the user has to enter something, and where is that going to take place? It's going to take place here. It's going to take place inside the test input, right? So we have to put the test input there because that's where it's going to take place, right? So we have to put the test input there. Then the test input, what is actually inside the test input? So it's .test. It's test that is inside, right? Then we bring a comma. So you realize it's following. Just steady it up there, and it's giving you the default value here. So we are just going to follow it and type straight away. So it says 0.5. We just do that. Then the next one is what? 60. So we just type that. All right. The reason why I'm not putting these ones in quotes because they are numbers, right? And these ones are text. But this one I'm calling an item here actually. So you don't put these ones in quotes, right? So the next one, you see, so as I type, it gives me the value. So I'll enter 1. Then it says 0.5. So I'll enter my 0.5. Then it said the next one is 0. I'll bring 0. All right, so the stop, right? If you remember, the stop is here. So I'll just come and copy this. Right? I'll just paste that also. I'm done. So now I have to close it one. I close it one. This is picking this, right? Now I need to close the last one, which is this. All right. So I'm done with this. Now I'm done. I mean, that's all. That's all the code that you need. And they were all here. We didn't do anything strange. Okay. So that's all we need. And as you were entering, it was just popping up for us. So now we have it here. All right. So the next thing is now to display it here. Okay. So now what are we putting here to display whatever we did, right? So we have to type, but before that, let's test this up. Let me just test this up quickly. So run this. I didn't save this. How can I do this? Okay, so let me just save it quickly. Don't forget to be saving your project. All right, so I saved this quickly. Now let me just put something here. Let me say good morning. Morning, and run it. Yes, it's run successfully, but won't pop up here. Remember, of course, we've not placed any code here to display whatever we run. But you realize everything that ran here will put the response inside here. Okay. So the response, everything that we did has run here. And the response is inside this. Right. So everything we run has picked and the response is inside this. So now this is actually working now. The var chat response is actually picking the record now. Right. So that's it. All right, so now we can come to this side, which is the label. Now let's code the label so that the label can have I mean whatever that is being stored here to display inside the label here, right? So let's see if it will display. Let's start typing and see if it will display whatever that is stored there. All right, so the first thing we need is we need to type first, right? First. I will explain this code shortly after the talk. So first, because I'm done actually, then the response. So we pick the response first. So this is the response, right? The var response. I don't want to come and type everything here. You remember I told you I'm assigning it to this. So that I don't come and type all here. So I've assigned it to this. All right. So now dot choice. I mentioned to you earlier on that it's in the choices field. So dot choice as in the choices table. Then I'll close this. So I need the first reply inside the choice table, and the first reply is test, right? So dot test. You get it. Now you've seen it as you see the reply has pop up. Good morning. How can I help you? Now the reply we got here has now pop up here. All right. So let's try this out now. I want to be your friend. So let's just send this. I'm glad to hear that. I would love to be your friend. Awesome. My name is Shadrack. So this is a friendly chat something, right? Nice to meet you, Shadrack. Let me see. What movie do you like most? My favorite movie of all time is the Shawshank Redemption. Wow. So you see, this is how it works, right? So it's a friendly chat something, okay? And as I said earlier on, it's still ChatGPT. You can still ask questions, right? You can still ask questions because it's ChatGPT. So let's see what is about. All right. So it will just gather all the information. So it's a 1994 American drama film written and directed by Frank. So you see, you can get all the information about it. But then this is, so you realize it's not getting a lot here because this is a friendly chat something, right? So, but still has the ChatGPT thing behind it, right? All right. So let me just go back. So this is the application. When done, you can just publish it when it's ready, right? Publish it, then everyone within the organization can have access to it. All right, so this is how it is done. As I mentioned earlier on, you realize we built our connector, our custom connector. We use the custom connector to do this. All right, so quickly, let me just come back here. Let me just come back here to the slide. All right, so I'm just going to explain. I'm just going to explain this. Oh, shouldn't have taken this off. So I'm just going to explain this quickly. This code quickly to you guys. I've written a blog on it, which will be published soon on the Microsoft Tech community site. I blog there as well, so it will be published there. So inside here we have the first function, which is used to retrieve the first element in the choice property, right? So these functions take an array or collection as its argument and returns the first element in that array or collection, right? That's what we did up there, right? Then the .test that you see there, the .test property, right, is then used to access the test content of the test content. So this particular one is used to access the test content of the first element in the choices property, right? So this property contains the test content of the first response generated by the language model, all right? So that, in the chat conversation, we can have that kind of conversation in there. Right, I mentioned earlier on that I will explain all this. I don't know if I still have a little time to explain. So the test DaVinci is the model, the language model, as I mentioned earlier on, that is used for the chat conversation. The test input that you are seeing here, okay, is just this, as I mentioned earlier on, to take the user information, right? That will be used for the first chat, right? Then we have the 0.5, which is the temperature. So the temperature parameter that controls the randomness, okay, of the model output. The higher the temperature value means the model will generate more diverse responses, right? Then we have the 60 here, which is for the max token. The max token is the, okay, so that's the maximum number of tokens, okay, the worst or punctuation max. So realize it is meant for friend chat. So we're not getting more worse there when I ask that particular question about the movie. Okay, so that model can output in, so it's the more ways that particular model can output a single response, right? Then we have the one, which belongs to the top P. Okay, so that's the number of responses the model will generate in the conversation as well. All right, then so one response at a time, because it's a friendly chat. So we have the frequency quality, the frequency penalty, right? So the frequency penalty, that's 0.5. So the frequency penalty, that's the maximum of confidence level for the response. So only responses with a confidence level greater than or equal to the value will be included in the conversation. Then we have the 0, which belongs to the presence penalty. So this is the maximum time in milliseconds, actually, that's the function will wait for a response from the language. So the value 0 means the function will wait indefinitely for a response, right? Then this you are seeing here, okay, is an array, right? It's an array of string that will be used as the chat participant's name, and that's you, as I said. But in this case, the chat will only have one participant, which is me, you, right? All right, so that's it, and just a little explanation to that, and then I'm sure you guys enjoyed it. This is just a quick way of using ChatGPT API in there, and I'm sure you guys loved it and enjoyed the presentation. So if you have any question, I'm all here to just flow with you. But if not, actually, as I mentioned earlier on, a blog is going to be out soon on the Microsoft Tech community site. You can follow me on LinkedIn, Shadrack Inusah. I'll share the blog so that you also have access to it as well. So I'll share my LinkedIn link so that you can have access to follow me. Then when I share it, you have the blog to read and create your own stuff. But then if you have any question, feel free to ask me quickly, then I'll hand over to your leaders. Yep.
Yeah, thank you, Shadrack. This is Freedom here. Perhaps maybe if you can just go back to the Power App. I have a few questions, not really hectic ones. If you can just project that. Well, yeah, very good. This is the part I need. You see where you are actually setting the, let's call it a function or the action that should happen when you click on that button, right? Right at the top. Very good. Um, my question is, for example, I realize that okay, first, can you set a number of let's call them actions to be performed when you click on that button? For example, when you have typed and then you submit, I did realize that when you want to ask another question, you go and have to clear the text area exactly there. So my question is, can you set a number of functions such that when you click there, you get the response, but also the text area gets cleared, and maybe also perform other functions just by a one click?
Okay, so let's try that. Let's try that together, right? You ready?
Sure.
Let's sound it. All right. So let's reset. What are we resetting? So we are resetting tests.
The text area.
Yes, text. All right. Now let's see if this works. If it works, fine. So let me just ask a question. Good. All right, so it clears, right? But then I didn't take this out. Okay, that's my error. I was supposed to take this out, right? All right, awesome. Okay, so this is what should happen, right? I am Shadrack. So it clears, right?
Very good.
Great.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah.
Well,
So
another
this is
one. Yes, that's nice. And another one has to do with the response that you get. Yes.
Okay.
Very good. So I've seen that you, or rather I see that you call the first function, and then of course you retrieve the text. I believe you mentioned that this is coming from an array, right? So is there an instance where you can have pre-knowledge of what will be in the arrays and then get to choose? Or is this normally, well, for introductory reasons that you would have to start with the first function? And what other functions are there that we can play with?
Yes, so the knowledge doesn't just end here. As you mentioned earlier on, we were able to add something else to this again.
Sure.
There are a lot of more stuff that you can implement in here. I mean, you can even do a lot of things. You can to the extent that you can even tell the ChatGPT also to include images and stuff. Because so there are a lot of fields you can actually implement in here as well. So if you realize, even it has a field API as well, which you can also leverage on that. I thought I was sharing that, but it has an image one too as well, which also has a different, different field also, right? So the fields are a lot, but then the field we needed now is a test field. Okay, so you can go on and go on to build more awesome stuff. Going to the complex level to build more awesome stuff with it there.
All right. No, thanks. Interesting presentation. I appreciate that.
Sure, you're welcome.
Right.
All right. So I think my time is up, but I don't know if anyone has any question. If not, thank you very much, everyone, for the time you spent all here to listen to my talk. my stubborn talk, actually. All right, so you can connect with me on Twitter, both Twitter and Instagram is at Kojoshidi, both Twitter and Instagram, and on LinkedIn is Shadrack Inusah. The LinkedIn and Facebook both is Shadrack Inusah. So connect with me. I mean, I'm going to share awesome stuff. The more we discover stuff, the more we share with you guys. So that's, I mean, you guys will also learn as well as you go on. We are also learning as well on our own. Yeah, I think there are some hands up. Freedom, your hand is up again.
Yeah, sorry. This is on behalf of the, well, I have quite a number of people here who are
Okay, okay,
participating at the physical level. So,
okay.
one gentleman here has raised a question to say, where would you then integrate your own code in the Power Apps? Maybe if you can just show us that portion, not to say integrate the code, but just to display that, okay, this is the part where your code will probably go in, depending on what you're trying to achieve.
Um, if I get you right, this is the part your code go on. Which code are you actually talking about?
So maybe if you want to add your Python, your C sharp, maybe you want to augment or achieve other things, for example, or
Oh,
maybe
okay.
building your connector using your conventional programming languages. Yeah.
Oh, okay. The traditional aspect of it, right? So,
Yes.
I think yes. So I think that's where most people create these connectors here. They used to call the APIs, and then Power Apps doesn't allow the traditional language here, but then you can actually implement CSS in here. Okay, but the traditional language is not actually used in Power Apps. Okay. Um, Let me see if I can find this. Yes, so you can find something like let me see, HTML. Yes, so you can actually use HTML CSS here, as you can see it here, right? So you can actually bring your CSS HTML here, which will work perfectly. So you can see sometimes on, I don't know if you follow most of the MVPs online, they are creating awesome UIs. I mean, in Power Apps, these nice UIs and things, they are using CSS, right? So you can just bring your CSS HTML here and it will pop up here. And you can use it to do whatever you want to do. I mean, you can get awesome container to put your, so like this that you are seeing like this, we can put it in a nice container here. We can have a nice container in CSS. I mean, which is going to be very cool for our display. All right. But then you can do more of the traditional programming language in Power Apps, right? But this is something you can bring here to just, I mean, make your code look awesome, right? Okay.
All right. Thanks.
All right. Sure. You're welcome. So, yes. So I'll kindly, yes. They can use VS Code to edit the actual code of the app. Okay, sure. So this is like going to the, I mean, going into deep, right? This is going into deep. Yes. So I understand that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So thank you very much. So I will have to. I see another hand up, but I don't know if you
No,
can reach out to me on LinkedIn or you can talk. I don't know.
yeah, no
You can.
problem. No, I just wanted to address a question quickly. There's you basically need to, on your Visual Studio, there's, once you load, you pack your package into the Visual Studio.
Exactly.
You can actually use a folder called WADL, WADL, and that's where you can actually unpack the connector to connect back to your app. So once you put your API connector on your app, then you have to use Visual Studio Code to actually go in and change and adjust couple of entries in there to get back to feedback into the Power App. If you want to use a filter within the gallery and etc. etc. But there's a nice, if I find a video, there's a nice video which I'll post on the, which one can use to unpack this. But very good. Thanks for your demo. It's definitely it's definitely the way forward.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for that.
Thank
Yes.
you.
So I would just quickly like to hand over to the next speaker. Then yes. So I've shared my LinkedIn handle so we can get connected. All right. Bye everyone.